something was living in my house. So, a couple years ago, I used to live in the state of Pennsylvania, and I moved out. I moved to Florida. But before I moved, I recently purchased a piece of property with a small house on it. It was pretty secluded. The nearest neighbor was about 4 miles away, and it was only a mile away from a state forest. See, living in Pennsylvania, I've walked the whole Appalachian Trail all the way to Maine to Georgia. It was an awesome experience. Of course, I did it in the summertime because most of the time in the winter, I'm usually busy working, and I get a lot of time off in the summer due to my job. Luckily, I have a job. I worked there for a while, so it does help out a lot. The house I purchased was a 2-story house, pretty old. It's got a basement, it's got an attic. It's about 6 bedrooms. It's one of them old houses, but it's really beautiful. They did a good job on it. It came with 17 acres. The yard is beautiful, and it has a small river behind it. See, I'm not married yet, and I ain't got no kids, so it was always just me by myself. When I moved down to Florida, I always used to come up in the summertime to visit, because in Florida, it gets hot, and I just cannot take that heat. So I usually come up to my house in Pennsylvania. Well, it's still hot, but it's a little bit cooler and less humidity. Because in swamps, it is humid, and I can't stand it. But the good thing is about living in Florida is because in the wintertime, it's still nice and beautiful out. And the temperature drops some, but you ain't gotta freeze to death. So that's why I like living in Florida. So every summertime, I usually come and visit my house in Pennsylvania. I always keep a few things in there. Food, and a bunch of other supplies. I have mowers and all there, so when I get there, I can mow the yard. The good thing about me coming up there in the summertime is because I can mow my yard before it starts to get really tall, even though nobody would say anything about it, because it's pretty far off the road. But I like to have my property looking beautiful. So, when summertime hit, I headed over there. It was a good few hour drive, because I camped out at a few motels on the way there, so I didn't have to stay up things entire time. Thank God. I'd drive for a few hours, stop, get some lunch. When nighttime hit, I'd camp out in a motel because, it's supposed to be a time to enjoy myself, get away from work, take a vacation. So I don't feel like driving the whole 12 hours to the place I gotta go. Because usually when I have to go there, if I want to make it there fast, I go way beyond the speed limit and I drive non-stop. But that's only if I'm there in a hurry, which I'm not. So I take my time going there. And when I finally got there, everything was normal. I pulled in, and I never locked the door because I don't figure anybody would ever try to break into it. And if somebody did try to break into it, I'd rather them not kick the door down or break the window out to get into my house. Because I don't keep my things in there anyway. So, me locking the door is just overkill. So when I finally got into the house, I unpacked my stuff. I usually bring a briefcase and a few luggage bags with all my clothes and some extra food because the closest store is a good 20-minute drive. So I like to stay prepared just in case. And I always bring a gun with me because I'm way beyond my territory because how far out I am. I carry a Smith & Wesson 9mm with an extended clip and a few boxes of ammo with it, just in case anything goes wrong, which is certain because how far out I am. I mean, worst thing that could happen, maybe a coyote, or a raccoon, a possum, or maybe a burglar. But after the whole time I've had it, which has been a few years, nothing's ever happened. So when I finally got all my stuff unpacked, it was already pretty late by then, so I decided to call it a night. See, I still have cable and all hooked up there, and I do pay it, so I have television. So I laid on my bed and I turned on some TV. I was watching Discovery Channel when I suddenly heard a loud bang downstairs. So I got up and went to check it out because, for all I know, there could be some sort of animal in my house I didn't even know. So I didn't even grab my gun. I just walked downstairs and looked around, didn't see nothing. So I locked the door because if I'm there, then I lock the door. If I ain't there, I leave it unlocked because if they're gonna try to break in while I'm there, then it's definitely gonna be locked and they're gonna get shot. If I ain't there and they try to break in, then they're still gonna get in no matter what. So you might as well leave it unlocked. Well, I don't feel like replacing windows or replacing a door. So after I checked out everything, went back upstairs and kept watching Discovery Channel until I fell asleep. Woke up the next morning, bright and early. I go to 7 o'clock. Felt good to wake up and not be extremely humid and hot. So I walked downstairs, started cooking some breakfast, some bacon and eggs. Sat there, heard the birds outside. I always fill the bird feeders up. I like watching the birds. And I always have a corn pile out back because I do like to hunt the deer. I've seen some pretty big bucks in the area. I have shot a few, so I do got some deer meat in my freezer. So I keep the corn pile out there, and I will see if I see any bucks. I won't ever shoot no does because I'm not really in any need of deer meat. So I only shoot when I have to, or if I want some extra deer meat. Which I already have deer meat already stocked in the freezer, so I didn't have to shoot any. And you always see a few squirrels and raccoons getting in the corn pile. So after I ate my breakfast, I walked outside, and I decided that time to mow the grass. So I went out to my shed. I have an old Moe push mower that I got from Walmart, and I started mowing. After I mowed, I got the weed everything. My yard was looking good. That wasn't until I noticed something out of place. Didn't look like it belonged there. It shouldn't have been there actually, because I know that every bone from the deer I kill, I would throw away. What I found was a skull to a deer laying there. It still had skin on the head. It wasn't a buck either, it was a doe. And I don't shoot does. At least not up here, I don't. So I knew it couldn't have been mine. So I immediately started thinking maybe the neighbors shot a deer and maybe the coyotes or wild animals brought it over here. but they didn't happen to see any like bite marks on the face. It was just a scar. Kind of weird, but thought nothing of it because I'm up here to enjoy myself and get away from that extremely hot weather down in Florida. So I thought nothing of it. Started cleaning my garden, had everything looking nice. I decided that for dinner I should run out to town and grab a pizza. So I did. Meanwhile, I left the door unlocked because, like I said, don't want nobody breaking in and breaking my windows or door. I must have been gone for at least an hour because it's a 20-minute drive there and back, so I was only out there for 10 minutes. I already called ahead and ordered the pizza. Extra large pepperoni. Then we had like 2 pizza places in that town, so you don't have much to choose from for pizza. Even though you do have Burger King, McDonald's, and even a Wendy's, they ain't got many pizza places. So when I finally got back, I suddenly noticed my front door is wide open. The first thing I thought was, what the fuck? I know I closed the front door. I would never leave it open. Could that just be stupid? Why the hell is it open? So, I left the pizza in the car. And the dumb part was, I didn't bring my gun with me. Cause I didn't think I'd have to. But I did have a pocket knife. So, at least I was armed with something. As long as I make it upstairs with my gun, I'll be good. If there's anything in here or anybody. So I slowly walked up to the porch, looked in the house. I left all the lights on, so that was nothing out of the ordinary. And at least I could see my way in the house without turning the flashlight on. I looked around, and I slowly snuck upstairs into my bedroom and grabbed my gun. And then I went downstairs and looked through every room. But surprisingly, there was nobody in there, or nothing in there. There were no other doors open, nothing. Just the front door, almost like the wind blew it open or something. But usually, the wind wouldn't blow it open because if that was the case, it'd be open when I got there. Because if it sat there all year, then the wind definitely would have blew it open, and it haven't. And I know it ain't because I've tried the door. You pull on it hard, it does not budge without pulling the doorknob. So I know no wind could have blew it open. And nobody kicked it in because it was unlocked, and I even checked. I checked all the windows, which there was no need to because the door was open, so why would you go to the window? Nothing was even stolen or out of place. Everything was just normal. So I finally went back out to the car, got out my pizza. Went in, closed the door, locked it this time, sat at the table. I also have a small TV in the kitchen, so I flipped that on. I had the news on, and I started eating my pizza and enjoying myself once again. Had my porch lights on so I could see the backyard and the front yard. Nothing looked out of the ordinary, which it shouldn't because nothing's ever happened here before. So, after I ate my pizza and everything, I went in the living room to start watching TV. I decided that I should watch one of my old movies, which was Fury, that old World War II movie with the tanks. I always loved that movie. So I put it in because I ain't watched it in a good year. So I put it in and watched it all the way to the end. And then I was tired, so I wanted to go back to bed. Went up the stairs, laid in my bed, and started to drift off to sleep. Once again, I heard the same loud thud or bang downstairs again. And the front door was locked this time. The funny part was, It happened the same time as yesterday, pretty much. As soon as I lay in my bed and start dozing off, I hear it. Once again, I grabbed my gun and made my way downstairs. Checked every room again. But I just remembered, out of this whole time, I never checked the basement. So whatever was making that noise must be coming from the basement. Or it might not be. I don't know. So I went out in the living room, opened my drawer, and pulled out one of my flashlights, and then made my way in the basement. I had 2 bolt locks on it, on the outside, so had to unlock them and open the door. Well, there ain't no light down there, 'cause I know where to place the light bulb. So I figured, and now since I know the light bulb's blown out, and I know where to place one, that I'll finally replace it in the morning, because it's dark down there. So I made my way downstairs to the basement and looked around, but there was something weird. I never kept anything in the basement, and when I went down there was an old chair, an old one, like it's been used a lot. The sides of it were like all tore up. It looked like somebody used it for years. And there was a small coffee table that had like bump marks on it, scrapes, and everything. I know I didn't have that furniture down there, and I know it wasn't there when I bought the house. It's never been down there. There's never been any furniture there since I moved in, since I bought it. How the hell did it get down here? What the hell made that noise? So I kept looking around again, but there was nothing there, just as I thought. But who put the furniture down here? So many things were going through my mind, but I guess I never added up as to maybe somebody could be living here.